small businesses get money, like Made in DC, Latino Economic Development Center. Like, those are really great foundations. But I won't lie, like, and I won't pretend that, like, it's easy. It's really not. We've had some tears, and we're still shocking. You really don't make the money in your first year. Like, your whole first year is just
keeping it afloat.
Literally keeping your business afloat until you make some type of gross profit value.
Okay, what's the importance of vetting those who want to invest in your company? Is there a process behind that? Like, hey, I have a list of questions for these guys or women.
Yes, there's a long process. A lot of times, and you have to think about it like sharks. I don't know if people have seen Sharks. My dad actually has made me watch Sharks on a daily basis. Did you watch Sharks today? Hey, you need to watch Sharks. Because you're looking at the pitch, but you're also looking at what investors do and how you have to negotiate. Because sometimes investors will be like, okay, boom, here's $50,000. I want 20% of your company. But 20% of your company is a lot. Like, what does that even mean? Is that 20% off of beer sales? Or 20% off merchandise? 20% off my soul? Like, what does that mean? So, yeah, you have to ask these questions. You have to be very, very clear. Like, okay, if my company does not have any gross profit value right now, what are you getting a percentage of? Like, and so there's some investors was like, well, I want profit right away. So that means if I'm not making any money, right? If I'm selling my beer, but all of the money is going back into the business, but I'm in an agreement with an investor that they get that 25%, we're going to go under, you know? So it's really, really important. Like, the questions I like to ask is like, where do you see us in a 1 year span? Well, I start with the 6 month, 12 month, 3 year, 5 year.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a long-term investment? Are you looking for a short-term investment? If you're looking for a short-term investment, I can't help you. If you're looking for a long-term growth investment, I can help you. Percentage of the company? Well, I'm not giving more than 10%. So, you know, this is, and then if you're going to say 10%, this is what the timeline looks like. You wouldn't be paid back until a year from now or something like that. So you have to be really, 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 really specific. You have to make sure when you're doing these investment contracts. I've avoided contracts. I've written contracts and purposely put certain clauses in there because once they're broken, the contract is null and void. So if I say, well, to have some ownership, you got to do this, 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 and this, and you don't do this, this, and this, perfect, cool. All right, now let's revisit this because we got to get on the same page. So it's really important. Like, it's a lot.
Oh no, I feel you. Half a year ago, I had a friend from college reach out to me and say, hey, I want to invest in your company. And I was like, well, how much do you want to invest? He offered me a little bit under $10,000 for 20%. And I said, hell no. And he was like, well, why? I was like, my company is going to get bigger and it's growing. It's literally in its infancy stage. You're not going to see anything until 5 years from now.
Literally.
If I sell you 20% for $10,000 in 5 years, those two values aren't going to match. And we don't have the same vision as to what my company is. Because he's telling me what he thought my company is. And I said, no, it's not that. This is what it is. And this is where it's going. I don't think you're going to be making your money back.
And that's really important when you say, like, what you thought it was going to be. Like, one of my investors, like, when and I love them. They're amazing. The big conversation was, like, they really wanted, and this was the second investor that really wanted me to open up a brewery. And I was like, I'm not opening up a brewery. What I'm doing is way bigger than that. Like, not way bigger, not to knock the breweries, but I want to do a distribution company. But they couldn't get, because again, I feel like, you know, us as like a Black community, we limited ourselves so much that they're like, yeah, brewery, restaurant. Do you know how many restaurants and breweries are open right now? I don't want to do that. Everyone it's oversaturated.
Yeah, and they're bound to close within a couple of years because there's so many.
Right. So it took some time to really like take the investor. Like I was like, look me in my eyes. You need to do some research. And I literally made them do homework. I was like, do you know what a distribution company is? Do you know the importance of a distribution company? And I made them do their homework. And Lord behold, when they really, really researched exactly what it is and understood what I was trying to do, they were like, oh, okay. Now let's get into it. Like, let's get into it. And so, but that's awesome because a lot of people don't, a lot of investors aren't willing to, some of you have to understand, some of your investors don't know anything about your industry.
They just know they have money.
They just know they have money. So also, I require education. You need to know what you're putting your money into because I can't have you thinking that you're buying one thing and you about to make this much when that's not the case. So that for all of my investors, like that's mandatory. And I might come off as the angry black girl, like, oh, she's so but I just know that this is my baby, like and if we all going to come up, we have to make sure we're all on the same page. So
no one's going to understand the value of your product like you will.
Yeah, pretty much.